So Iris, while we're talking about this, you've got your entrepreneurship, you've got your mental health. There's another entire blanket over this if one is an LGBTQIA plus business owner, and it's not to say like every person in that community has the same stumbles, has the same difficulties, has the same everything. A lot of them overlap, and people in other communities feel the same way. But I think one of the things that I see as a commonality is that if you are running your business, there will be times when you feel like there's a whack-a-mole game and you are the mole that keeps coming up and getting smashed down. So can you address that, please? Because I love what you're doing with your show. Please tell us about the show as well.
The show is Unique Voices, and it's about LGBTQIA plus business ownership, our obstacles and challenges, as well as our successes, wins, and opportunities. And, for me, I think it depends on where you live. If you live in California, if you live in, Houston or Austin or New York or, wherever, like a big city, that's not going to be that much of an issue. But if you live in a smaller town, like I live in, Indiana, and that's a whole nother story. But, the community that I'm in, I had more of an issue because I was a female business owner than a gay business owner,
Isn't that
which is
wild?
right. But it's still minority. Like, we don't think about it. It's like when, I look at the flag. So my logo on Unique Voices is, Unique Voices. It's in, I don't even know the font, but it's in this like, tattered font, and the E is the flag. It's the colored flag. And it's the all-inclusive flag, but there's no color for women, right? There's no color for that. There's nothing for disabilities, right? So DEIAB is, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And, there's no disability in there. There's no female in there. So for me, I think that's the biggest thing. But there are a lot of, I have had people tell me they won't work with me because I'm gay, and on the converse, I won't work with somebody who's MAGA. I'm just going to throw it out there. I mean,
Sure.
I am not going to work with somebody who has hate in their heart. It doesn't align with my values.
Right. And wants to legislate specifically against you as a
Thank you.
woman and as a gay
Yes.
person.
And
Like what?
let's throw in, I was raised Jewish, so I got 3, right? I got 3 out of, 4. The only thing is I'm not Black. And, or Mexican or Muslim or, whatever.
Right.
Anything other than white Anglo-Saxon, you know. And so I think that, or, cishet, right? But I think that the challenges come because of fear. And we were talking earlier about how my stuff was, my decisions were made by fear. A lot of people make their decisions from fear, but it's not a fear of them not being in a safe space. It's fear of what they don't know. And rather than wanting to learn about what they don't know, they choose to hate what they don't know.
Right.
And
As
that's where I
opposed to,
have a really big problem,
yeah.
because as a gay person, I will sit down. I have had so many conversations with, MAGA people. And there are some that we have really good conversations and we see each other's differences. And there may even be one little area that we can agree on, right?
Right. But
And
you will never know that unless you approach it with curiosity and
thank you.
openness and sort of like, okay, well, tell me more about that. Well, I'm this. Does that change how you feel about me? But without your dukes up, that's the thing.
Yes. And one of the conversations I had with somebody was, you don't know me. How can you hate me? You don't know me.
Yeah.
I had a client years ago, not that long ago, who was a Bibleist. And before we started working together, I'll never forget, I walked into her office and there were crosses and Bible verses. And like, I felt my skin just going, as I walked in. Um, and I was like, oh, oh, holy crap. But we sat down and she was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I would really, love to work with you. I didn't tell her I was gay because at the end of the day, here's the thing. When I meet somebody,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing on my mind isn't who do you love
Right.
or who are you sleeping with or who or whatever. That is
Right.
like
Mm-hmm.
all I want to know is, can we do business together? And, whatever, can I help you? That's it. But that's not how they look at us. It's like the first thing that they ask is, are you married? Are you married to a guy or a girl? Like, it's none of your damn business. Well, anyway, long story
Mm-hmm.
short, it never even came up. So, but in my mind, I'm like, I know damn well that if she knew that I was gay, she would be like, I can't work with you.
Not if she's
Like,
really actually a Christian.
so, right. If you are a true Christian, you not only talk the talk, you walk the walk.
Right.
If you're a Bibleist, you believe what's in the Bible and what your pastor tells you. I
Right.
mean, it just is what it is. So we we talked. I said that I would help her. I was going to do her website. This is like 10 years ago, whatever. And I get home and I have the check in my hand. And I look at my wife and she's like in bed sick. And I'm like, I'm having a moral dilemma. And she goes, what? I'm like, I met with this woman. She's super, she's a Bibleist. She believes the Bible verbatim. And I took her check to work with her, but I feel like I should give it back because I don't feel like I'm being honest with her by not telling her that I'm gay. But at the same time, do I have to tell her that I'm gay? And then if I don't work with her, am I as bad as the bakery who won't bake a cake for a gay couple?
Mm-hmm.
And she was just like, oh my God, I have 102 fever. What? So, um, so she said, you have to do what's in your heart.
Right.
So I decided there was a reason that I was brought to her office.
Mm-hmm.
Because you and I know there are no accidents, right? So I said, okay, I'm supposed to work with her. So maybe I'll teach her something,
Mm-hmm.
well, so for 4 years, we worked together for, I think, like 6 years. So the
Okay.
second year in, second and a half year in, um, and she never asked me this before. We had a lot of conversations. She was very anti-gay. And just because it's not right. The Bible says it's not right. And I said, but where
That's
in the
not
Bible,
true, first of all. And also, these are translations of translations of translations, often
translations of
politically
translations of
motivated.
translations?
So if you go back to the original Greek, very different world.
100%. So long story short, not that I could ever do that, but so we're doing our annual, we meet every January and we're going over our annual plan. And so she goes, I've never asked you this. I see the ring on your finger. What did you and your husband do for the holidays? So I said, well, my wife and I went to her families. And she went, oh, and she went, oh, oh.
Remembering every hateful
Oh
remark
my
she'd
God. I
made.
am so sorry. I am so sorry. And she couldn't apologize enough. And I said, it's okay. She said, you never said anything. I said, I didn't need to. And she said, oh. I said, am I different? She goes, no. She goes, you're lovely. I love you. And I said, I love you too. You know, but now fast forward and Oklahoma puts a ban on gay adoption. Gay
Mm.
families cannot adopt gay kids. So I'm in her office. This thing is because she has whatever news on, and she was like, well, that's good. And I went, you think it's good that a gay family? I said, so you would rather see a child in the foster system where they can get abused and hurt before you would rather see them in a loving gay home? And she said, yes. So I said, so if Heather and I were going to adopt, no, 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 no. You and Heather are different.
No, we're not.
No. How are we different? Because you know us? Well,
Oh,
yeah.
we have to be personally vetted.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and by the
Because
way, my gay friends did adopt 2 children, and I am here to tell you that that is a very onerous situation, gay, straight, whatever, because they are background checks, they interviewed me separately, they wanted to make sure I understand what being a guardian is, and all of the things. It's not easy to
No,
adopt
and
a
two of our
child.
friends just adopted 2 kids,
Yeah,
and it was hard and they went through hell. The kid is thriving, thriving.
love it.
His name is Cash, and he is thriving. The home and the hell that he came from was just unbelievable. And this child is now thriving because of the love that the parents
Yeah.
have given them, right? So, and it
So
all
wait,
goes
yeah, what
back.
happened with this client?
So, well, I started a partnership with another client, and he got her in the divorce. Um,
Okay.
which was fine. I mean, it is what it is, and we haven't spoken since. We'll probably speak again this year. I'm hoping at some point, but um, she was amazing, and I helped her with anything. She would call me, and she'd have a problem with Outlook, so I would just go and help her. And she'd be like, "Let me pay you." I'd be like, "No, no, 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 I don't want your money." And it was easily twice a month. She'd be like, "Oh my God, I got locked out again," or "Oh my God, I can't,"
Right.
because she just wasn't tech savvy. But we had a really amazing relationship, and she's just one of the kindest people that you want to meet. And it was, if I didn't make the decision to do that, we
Yeah.
wouldn't have met. And
Right.
I like to think that I did teach her some things.
Hmm.
Like, she does look at things a little bit differently, not through a completely different lens, but maybe through a little bit of an altered lens than she would have before.
I like that. I like that. And we do get to do that. We do get to teach other people things just by being who we are. Like, and that's why I'm so vocal about growing up in an incestuous home. It's like, oh, you don't know anybody who did that? No, you don't know anybody who said they did that,
Right.
and who acknowledged and could remember. So it's and you get to show like you're a loving, beautiful, amazing gay woman. And everyone who meets you gets to learn something about you, even if they don't even know that you're, anything about your sexuality, your marriage, or because honestly, I'm like, your private's your business. I could care. You're like, I don't want to tell you about my sex life.
I
You
mean,
know?
I don't want to know about your sex. I mean, and that's the other thing, right? That tells me more about that person than it does anything else. Because if the
Yeah.
first thing you're thinking about is who I'm having sex with, that's a whole nother story, right? But that's what they do. And you talk about, incestuous. My grandfather molested me for a year when I was, I think, from 7 to 8. Um, and and it took years to get, but that was part of the fear, right? Not living in a safe household.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and all of the things that come along with that. But and then I've had people go, "Oh, that's why you're gay." No, I was born gay. That
Oh
has nothing
gosh,
to do with
not
it. But
please,
whatever.
please, McPlease.
Um, but the whole LGBTQIA plus, the whole thing with unique voices, right? Is the people that I have on the show. I have some, straight people on,
Mm-hmm.
um, or I have that are queer. I say
Mm-hmm.
straight, but they're queer, in maybe straight marriages.
Mm-hmm.
Annie, right? Um, and I just kind of feel like, you know, if we don't have conversations, if we stay in our own damn little bubble, because that's what people do. They want to be in their bubble, and they want to have the conversations with people in
And it's so
their bubble,
tiny.
and it doesn't go anywhere. All you're doing is speaking to the same people, and you're
Right.
saying the same things to each other. So where is the expansion? Where is the growth? It's not there. But if we can get out of that bubble and
Yes.
have the conversations and break through and that's what I hope to do with Unique Voices, is that we break through that bubble, people start having conversations,
Mm-hmm.
and they may be uncomfortable, and that's okay, because being
Yeah.
uncomfortable is not a bad thing. That's called growth.
Exactly, exactly. And growing, I think, is an invitation that we each have and we each get to offer.
Yeah.
I mean,
Straight or gay. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
yeah.
And that's the other thing. People are like, well, why do things have to be labeled? They have to be labeled because of
Oh, that's
community.
so important. It's
Oh
so
my God, you
important.
have to. It's like,
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Erin is they're non-binary.
Mhm.
And you know, it took me a while to say they. Like anytime I'm with her, damn it, I did it again.
With them,
Anytime I'm with
right.
them,
Yes.
see, it's like, and
Yes.
they're gonna be like laugh watching this because I do it like all the time. But the difference is it's not like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, right? It's
Yeah.
they are they. And they are non-binary, and I always make the mistake of saying she, and then I correct myself and say they,
And eventually it will be habit
and eventually
where,
it'll
yeah.
just be habit.
I love they for everybody. Like, can we just use they? It makes it so much easier. And please, McPlease of the clan, McPlease, let's do that.
Thank you. And then I said, you know, like, do I say bro or bruh or, and they said sib.
Sib.
And I went, oh, sib. So now anytime we talk, I'm like, yo, sib. And they just laugh their asses off because they're like, I love that you know that now, you know, because I feel completely educated. I am 63 years old. I've been gay my entire life. I fought the fight in the 80s.
Hmm.
You know, here I am now. I have this successful business. I have this show that gives this platform for queer people and LGBTQIA plus, you know, people to be able to talk and have a platform about business. But it's not just about business because at the end of the day, it's our lives, and
Yes,
we're business owners.
100%. I
But it's
love
also
it.
about life. And you know, so my hope for the world at large, for the world at large, we have war, we have fear, we have all of this crap going on, and we have it all going on because people made us afraid of things. People told us things were bad. And there's really nothing bad out there. There's just different.
Yeah.
There's just different.
Thank you. Thank you. And on that note, fear, hard pass.
Hard pass.
Oh, I love you so much.